I have got the worst feeling that I've just filmed something in slow motion. Hello. Right, so I'm just securing the vehicle at the back. These big cables will go around the rear section of the rear axle. Rear section of the rear axle. So these little loops, I've attached some chains to these. Really important that when we secure such a heavy vehicle, a vehicle with quite a lot of torque, I prefer to use the chains rather than conventional straps, especially at the rear. Got to protect your knees. Right then, so before we do dyno test this vehicle, while I bring it up to temperature, obviously it's gone through all the usual checks. What I've actually been doing with this 90 is it's come in for an uprated clutch and a GTB450 turbo kit. So we've actually done some power testing with this one already as a factory vehicle, and what we're doing now is we've just reflashed the ECU. We're going to be bringing it up to temperature and then power testing and logging some data just to see how the vehicle's performing with the new turbo and the mapping. So at the moment I'm just putting a bit of temperature into the engine. Still a bit cold, and eventually when we're above 60 degrees cool, I'll bring the RPM up to around, well, to exactly 3,500 RPM, and I'll sync that with the dyno so that the wheel speed and the dyno are in sync, so the RPM wheel speed match. Okay, so let's do our first power test with this GTB450, see what she can do. It's making a huge amount of torque. Can't be seen from where your view is, but very clean on the exhaust as well. That's quite nice to see. See what she makes. Oh, 214, 496. Wow! Take a look at that. Quite that strong. That's fantastic. Wow. It doesn't love a Td5. Well, I best save that run. Let's do another one. See what she makes. Right, I had to change the battery just then. We had 1%. I was ready to do a second run with the car. So fresh battery. On the Td5, it was making some awesome power on the 450, on the GTB450. So let me just get prepared and we'll do another run. Nice and consistent there. 488 newtons of torque and 212 horsepower. Wow. Anyway, so right, if you missed that, I don't know, I'll rephrase. GTB450 turbo on a Td5 Defender, and we've got a live ultimate intercooler and a sports exhaust system. It's got our mapping on there as well. So let's go ahead and do a power test. Just make some preparations here. Engine's up to temperature. Let's see what the charge temps are before we start the run. Yeah, so we're going to start the run at around 25C. We'll have a look at that once we've done a run as well. We'll see how well that's doing. So I'll just drop the window. So we're going full throttle now. So we're holding 1.7 barrels. That's a lot of torque. An awful lot of torque. .210 horsepower, 485 newtons of torque. Brilliant. Do you know what? Really clean on the exhaust as well. Happy with that, really happy. Right, so I'd like to see what's under the hood. Let's have a look at one of these 450 turbos. So there we go. A live tuning GTB450 turbo. Fits on a standard manifold. However, this one does have a CJM manifold. Fits with a standard heat shield, standard intake pipe, and the standard airbox with an ITG air filter in there. A set of alive coolant hoses as well, coolant and boost. Such a clean example, this one. Let's take another look at these figures. So today the best that we've produced on this Td5 is 216 horsepower and 496 newtons of torque. So for those that are new to looking at power graphs or new to the channel, welcome, first of all. But most importantly, let's have a look at these, let's explain these figures. So, being the chassis dyno, said this in the last video, but if you're new, let's have a little talk about this for a moment. So it's a chassis dyno, and what that means is that the vehicle is mounted to a rolling road rather than an engine dyno. So when we are power testing, what we're actually recording is power at the wheels, because the only contact patch between the vehicle and the dyno is the tyre. The tyre is connected to this drum, it's connected to part of the dyno. So when we're live, and you've just been watching, no doubt been watching some live power tests, well, the only curve on the screen you'll see is this blue one here. Now this is actually power at the wheels. So this vehicle made 155 horsepower at the wheels. After you've completed a power test, at the point where you've finished your power test, you lift off and we put the vehicle in neutral and we allow the vehicle to coast down without any interference of the brakes. Just let the car slow down naturally, and this green line here appears. It starts growing from here, and at the point where we started the dyno pull, that's where it ends, and that is measuring the drag. That's basically transmission losses, rotational mass, anything that's spent between the engine and the tyre. That's then added to the power at the wheels, which gives you your brake horsepower figure. That is how that happens. It's probably worth a mention as well, nearly 500 newtons of torque. This does have an uprated clutch in it, so that's one thing we've also installed on the vehicle this week too. So an uprated clutch. Standard clutch might hang on to that but it won't last very long, especially if you go towing or you're going to be enjoying that 500 newtons of torque. And when I say enjoying it, let's be honest, you wouldn't have a Defender of this sort of caliber and not enjoy a little bit, tiny bit of spirited driving now and again, would you?
So looking at these figures, some of you might be saying, I made 216 horsepower. And Stu said,
what did Stu say? Maybe that'll be in the bloopers as well. And Stu said, and I said, I can't say Stu, and I said, it's the most it's made. Well, what's the least it's made? Let's show you what the least it's made is. So let me just bring this one up here. So we've got records of a few pulls on the dyno. Let's pick the last one. 210, 485. So really consistent. Obviously you get a bit of heat soak between runs. Yeah, we've got a big fan, not running the fan at full pelt. It's a very powerful fan. Another run, 213. So yeah, it's, oh, and for those that are going to say, well, you've just shown a horsepower figure. There's the date. Right there. Right there. Have that. Well, if it doesn't show, I'm quite enthused with doing this on a daily basis. We do all sorts on a daily basis at Alive Tuning with Defenders, Land Rovers, Range Rovers, other motorsport vehicles, cars, SUVs, tuning, general service, maintenance, repair, wheel alignments, performance upgrades, exhausts, etc. But do you know what, right now, I'm interested in taking this for a road test because I want to see how it feels. 500 newtons of torque on a GTB450 turbo, not a 550, a 450. This one's done fantastic. First impressions are it's very responsive, even in third gear. So we're just leaving the estate where Alive Tuning's based. What we're going to do is we're going to head out just on the outskirts of the Louth town centre, around some of the bypass area. That is. Yeah. That's got some 500 newtons of torque. I'd agree. Definitely agree. Really responsive. .30 miles an hour in a 60. Only in Louth. give this a blast up to 60, so we're doing 20 now. That's 60. Just like that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. After we finish tuning a vehicle on the dyno at Alive, if it's possible, if it's a road car, I do like to take them for a road test, not just to enjoy your vehicle, we do enjoy vehicles, just to make sure that they're behaving correctly, making sure that they're not misbehaving, making sure they're producing power correctly. Just logging some data here as well, and just looking at temperatures and seeing how well it's boosting and see how well that intercooler is doing. I did say we'd look back at that intercooler. I did review the data when we was back at Alive. We said we'd start the pull at 25C. When we finished the pull, it was at 32, so that's not too bad at all. That's quite a small increase on an intake temperatures to say that we do a pull with 100% load on the dyno. We produce 500 newtons of torque and 216 horsepower. Just respect this 40 zone. Yeah, the job here really is almost complete. A couple of last things to do with the vehicle, just back on the ramp after having a turbo fitted, and just check that everything looks okay, make sure there's no leaks, nothing that we don't want to see, before we can sign it off for the customer. I do believe our customer's coming for this one tomorrow.